Each and every one of us has an unlimited inner wellspring of spiritual power. You have the ability to transform, create, and heal anything upon which you set your heart and mind. Join me, Sarah Hall, as we learn how to uplift all aspects of your life through spiritual empowerment. Enjoy weekly guided meditations, spiritual discussions on a multitude of topics, and a chance to call in to receive channeled messages from the angels on your spiritual journey. I'm Sarah Hall, and this is Through the Eyes of the Angels.
Hello, my friends, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today on Bring Me to Life Radio. Today's show is dedicated to you. I know that so many of you listening are empathic or spiritually sensitive light workers who are passionate about seeing the world become a better place. And a big part of sharing our light with the world is learning to exercise compassionate assertiveness in our relationships with others. We need assertiveness in our lives if we are to champion the value of love in this world. Assertiveness will empower you to share your gifts, to let your voice be heard with confidence, and create greater overall harmony in every aspect of your life. Empathy is one of the strongest driving forces behind the evolution of human consciousness. We are growing to become more spiritually open and connected people by way of expanding our capacity for empathy. And I have found that the vast majority of people who are drawn to a path of spiritual focus in life are empaths. An empath is someone who has a highly developed sense of empathy. Empaths are acutely aware of the emotional state of being of others. This is a gift because this enables empaths to develop a deep understanding of human nature and emotion. Because of this, most empaths are highly compassionate with regard to others' feelings. We want and sometimes even need others around us to be at peace because their feelings quickly become our feelings. Empaths are a gift in this world and represent a facet of the leading edge of our collective spiritual growth. And my goodness, empaths are often the toughest and strongest people that you'll ever meet, even if they themselves don't know it, because they're constantly processing so much emotion, empathy, and spiritual energy, not only for themselves, but also for others, in a world where, let's be honest, there is a massive spectrum of emotional experience out there. I have a friend who likes to call this the infinite rainbow nightmare spectrum. We all have the experience of a capacity to feel the side of human emotional spectrum that is full of love and rainbows and miracles, and also, yes, the side that can feel like maybe a nightmare at times. And it's up to us to protect which part of the spectrum we wish to live in. Empaths are sort of ready-made for a world of light, love, and gentleness because this is the overarching value of their sensitive, open consciousness. Every human being has this capacity in truth, and all children are born with this as their overarching state of being, but empaths sort of live there all the time at this highly sensitive level. And though our empathic consciousness is ready to create and live in a world of light, love, and gentleness, we still exist in a world where there is fear. And where there is fear, there is the capacity for suffering. According to the angels, learning to hold boundaries in the face of the ego, which is the source of suffering, for it is the consciousness of fear, is a necessary component to harmoniously and effectively completing our life's purposes. Boundaries and high standards keep the behaviors and energies of negativity at bay. They are the tools of spiritual warriors because they enable us to decrease the conscious real estate of the ego and claim our reality in the name of love. The more our inner conscious real estate is inhabited by the presence of love, the less our capacity is to fall into states of fear. But for many of us empaths, it is a challenge to enforce healthy boundaries and standards. In fact, it is the challenge. An empath feels the feelings of others to the extent where most of us want others to be comfortable, peaceful, and happy around us. For many of us, people-pleasing can be our Achilles heel. When someone is in a negative state around us, it feels like an easier way out to simply placate them or try to go along with them agreeably, because we've seen in the past that maybe our gentle healing energy naturally calms and soothes people, but we don't want it to do that to our detriment. You know, it's harder to stand up to negative people and hold them responsible for negative actions because we can feel their discomfort in doing so. It's a more challenging path, even if it is the better one. Most empaths are also a bit more practiced at being gentle and sensitive with others, as opposed to assertively speaking up and leading a negative or disagreeable energy to a more loving place. But this is necessary. And this is the skill that the angels are going to be teaching you today. Assertiveness is an important skill because, number one, we need it in creating the proper boundaries that will protect our own health and sanity. When we're empowered, balanced, and healthy at every level of being, we're more available and ready to fulfill a positive healing function in this world, to fulfill our life's purpose. Number two, we need assertiveness so that we can lead the collective to the higher standard of living and loving that we are meant for. And if we who can see and therefore teach empathy don't hold others accountable for protecting and upholding a standard of love on this earth, then who will? Who but the most aware and gifted and understanding the emotional importance of empathy should be its leaders and champions in this world? So let's dive into the angels' messages on how to develop your assertiveness in a balanced way. To begin, let's discuss confrontation. We established that confrontation can be a challenge for empaths and sensitives. Here are several common responses that people might have to confrontation of ego. There's fight, flight, freezing, or fawning. Many empaths tend to steer away from the fight response, but there are, of course, some of us that may react with this response sometimes. This is where one might confront negativity aggressively, perhaps raising our voice or otherwise trying to overpower the negative energy. A flight response is to avoid confrontation. Running away from the conflict is an example of this. Freezing is a response to confrontation in which we might have a very nervous reaction to aggressive energy. We might find ourselves freezing up mentally or physically, having trouble finding the right words in response to the situation, emotionally trembling at the confrontation perhaps. For example, maybe by crying without wanting to, suddenly noticing that our breathing becomes shallow or our heart rate increases and causes us to feel ungrounded or out of body, that kind of thing. Fawning is a response in which, as a self-defense mechanism in the face of negativity, we seek to please or placate the other person. We agree, please, enable, or attempt to otherwise control the negative situation with fawning behaviors to our detriment, allowing the negativity or ego to set the standard of treatment for those involved rather than standing up, protecting the standard of true wellness, love, or respect. If any of these responses to conflicts might sound familiar to you, then here's how to respond differently. First, we must change our core belief system and overarching perspective of our interactions with others to be rooted in an empowered, loving place. According to the angels, all those who cause suffering in this world can only do so because they themselves are suffering. So, the angry person who shouts unkind words at you is angry because they are suffering from ego. The inconsiderate or impatient person who disrespects others by behaving selfishly maybe is lost and limited in their perspective because they are suffering. The judgmental, gossiping, or jealous person who hurts others' feelings does so because they are suffering. You can therefore do these people and everyone around them no favors by failing to hold healthy boundaries with them, because this kind of approach would only support the continuation of suffering. So, our first healing and empowering shift in perspective is to root ourselves in compassion for the other person and see through their negative behavior for what it really is, a frightened behavior from a person hungry and desperately grasping for love in the only way that they currently know how. Compassion is an empowering first step because it disarms the negativity of others. Within your consciousness, the other person becomes not a threat or an instrument of ego, but rather you can see that they're a hurt child, maybe, in need of love and learning. This clears you of an internal response of fear when you see that person's fearful suffering, and replaces your response with one of love instead of one of fear, which love is the ultimate medicine for all fear. Now, here is the next very important concept to root within your value system. The angels like to remind us that just because we now have compassion and understand why that person is behaving poorly doesn't mean this excuses their behavior. This doesn't mean we now just let them cross our boundaries and spread their negativity in our lives. According to the angels, in order to behave from a place of true compassion with others, we must begin with self-compassion first. We are, after all, a collective consciousness. What you do to yourself, you do to others. If you are uncompassionate with yourself by letting someone else disrespect or hurt you, you are only allowing hurt and disrespect to flow back to others too. You're letting that be the standard. However, if you are kind, respectful, and loving with yourself first, then you can only spread love and respect to others because you're now holding a standard of that around your whole life. What you do to yourself, you do to others. Remember that others are capable of healing. And according to the angels, there is nothing in this world that cannot be healed. So remember that when you look at other people, when you see them compassionately, don't pity them. That, in a way, kind of comes from ego. Hold compassion for them from this knowingness of the truth that there is nothing in this world that cannot be healed and that they have the power to heal themselves too. And each person is responsible for their own spiritual growth and healing. They are just as capable as you are of looking within and choosing a better way to perceive and behave. And that is why we must assertively hold boundaries, to hold others accountable for their own spiritual growth. In this way, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting others. You're giving them the opportunity to protect the standard of love in their own life. You're supporting and loving one another on the journey home, on the journey to manifesting a world of peace, of heaven on earth. According to the angels, this is the only way towards a collective global shift towards peace. Everyone must clean up their own act and do their own work to heal ego and hold space for love. That's why we're all here. We all hold that intention at a soul level. So empaths can't go around allowing themselves to become drained or taken advantage of by one-sided relationship patterns or over-nurturing or enabling negative people just because those people carry some scars. An empath can do the most good, especially if you're called to be a healer or a teacher or a helper of any kind, by having strong assertive boundaries that free up your energy so that you can teach people to uplift and carry themselves in the spirit of love. And then you'll continually get to feel empowered and uplifted yourself too. So once you have established this shift in perspective within your value system, and you feel strong and connected to holding that standard of love, that value in your life, then you're ready to respond to confrontation with words and actions of truly compassionate assertiveness. To prepare to assertively speak up or take action, the angels invite you to begin by checking in with your physical body. It helps to be very grounded when you're enacting compassionate assertiveness. Because the more grounded you are, the more you're bringing your powerful spiritual energy and the presence of your centered, loving consciousness into the present moment. So, start by checking your breathing. Ensure that you're breathing evenly and calmly. You can take in several long, deep, slow, controlled, and calming breaths as you listen or observe in the situation. This calms your heart rate and sends out physical signals that calm the stress responses of fight or flight so that you can be centered in control, peace, and confidence. Next, check in with your legs and feet. Sometimes when we're nervous, we tend to lock our knees or feel disconnected from our physical rootedness to the ground. So breathe deeply and bring awareness down into your feet and legs. Feel your feet making contact with the earth. And then you can even adjust your stance so that your feet are in a nice, wide, hips width distance kind of stance. If you need to, give a very slight bend to your knees so that they aren't locked, so that you don't feel frozen up. And so that you can feel the power of that energy connection in your joints. Your joints are important centers of gravity for you and your posture that energetically help you to strongly root down into the earth, helps that flow of energy to move right down. Back when I was performing as a classical singer in operas and Broadway-style musicals, My angels taught me this technique so that I wouldn't feel stage fright, and so that I could also channel my energy through my body to achieve a sense of empowered presence on the stage. And this same technique is very effective in helping you to feel calm, in control, and ready to be lovingly assertive during confrontation. So next, bring your awareness into your eyes and eye contact. Meet the gaze of the person you're talking to. The eyes really are the window to the soul. And your intentions of healing, understanding, calm, and balanced compassion will radiate into the heart and soul of the other person when you make eye contact. There's a lot of silent, invisible communication that goes on when we make that intimate energy connection through eye contact. When you notice people shift their eyes and avoid eye contact, they may be subconsciously afraid of having a close energy connection. So if this is occurring, just be patient. Keep breathing deeply and speaking calmly, and keep meeting their gaze very steadily when you get the chance to. Combining your steady, calm gaze with your calm, relaxed breathing and a calm tone of voice will naturally relax everyone so that you can communicate and work together from a reasonable, respectful place. Which brings us to your voice. As you speak to the other person, hold the intention, and you can also practice doing this in front of a mirror to really develop the skill. Hold the intention to draw your voice up from an inner wellspring of both calm and firmness. Imagine that your voice is resonating not just out of your throat, but out of your belly at your solar plexus chakra, which is your power center. So when you breathe, breathe all the way down into your belly, letting the lower part of your lungs expand and your diaphragm lower. And then let your voice root and flow out of your belly, your core. When you speak calmly from your core, you needn't shout frantically or worry that your voice will waver with nervousness. You'll find, especially with practice, that you can emit all the power of a shout and more with a calm, even-toned, normal volumed vocal presence. When your voice rises up from the core and resonates with confidence and control, and intensity, if you will, people tend to quiet down and listen. Also, choose words that are direct, neutral, and to the point. Practice omitting words in your vocabulary that might reflect aggression, fear, or fawning. So for example, there's no need to use words that threaten, attack, guilt, people please, or beat around the bush. Instead, replace those kinds of vocabulary with neutral, direct compassion. So for example, instead of saying something like, "You're wrong," and, "How dare you, that mean person," that kind of thing. Or, "Oh, sorry, okay, I'll do what you say, you're right." Instead of either side of that spectrum, take a nice deep breath down into your belly. Imagine that you're placing your voice in your solar plexus chakra. Meet the other person's gaze and begin your sentence with something neutral and fair, such as, "I understand that you're feeling upset," or "I appreciate where you're coming from," or "I respect that you're trying to accomplish something here, but," and this pivot is very important. So after you've acknowledged that you wish to hold understanding for that other person by saying, "I appreciate where you're coming from," you must pivot with "but," or "however." Then state, "I feel that a change is needed," or "I have decided that I need to," etc., etc. Fill in the blank. and offer your perspective, your needs, or the statement of your boundary constructively and directly, plainly, and clearly in a neutral tone of voice that simply logically offers a sensible path for everyone to move into understanding and respect. If you find yourself feeling nervous as confrontational conversations progress, the angels suggest practicing grounding as you listen. So maybe you're listening to the other person or you're assessing the situation. In that moment, breathe deeply and imagine tree roots extending out of your heels. Breathe and feel those roots rooting down into the earth. And again, remind yourself to take those long, calming, deep breaths to help keep your nervous system and heartbeat calm. Then call upon the angels. Ask Archangel Michael to help you with strength and assertiveness, Archangel Chamuel to help the way for compassion between the hearts involved. Archangel Gabriel is great to help guide your communication in finding the right words and ideas. Archangel Uriel will help you to light the way for mutual understanding and respect, clearing people's minds. Or Archangel Raguel to protect the standard of a harmoniousness in the relationship. Now, you'll likely find that in most confrontations with reasonable people, this approach works. It calms everyone down, and it gives both sides of the situation the opportunity to begin calmly and rationally explaining their state of being so that you can arrive in mutual understanding. You can sift through the ego, detox those parts, and pull out the love, the truth, the cooperation, and the respect. And hopefully by this point, you're working together. However, there are going to be moments where that might not always work. If someone is especially scared, trapped, or stubborn in their ego state, to the extent that you've observed they're refusing to negotiate with you, maybe they're refusing to treat you fairly or respect you, then you'll need to know when to walk away. And walking away from someone is sometimes going to be the most empowering, compassionate choice that you can offer everyone involved. A very direct, fair, and compassionately assertive statement to make in a confrontation where you have assessed that you'll need to walk away is this: I have too much respect for myself to continue this interaction. I have too much respect for myself to continue this interaction. Simple as that. And then walk away. Oftentimes that statement and that action are all you'll really need to powerfully communicate the boundary. This teaches the other person that they don't get to be in your life or in your presence unless they rise to your standard of respectful, compassionate behavior and thinking. Now, given the nature of the relationship in your unique specific situation, it can sometimes be appropriate to add something like, I'm leaving now, but if you're ready to interact in a more respectful and calm manner in the future, you may reach out to me again. Again, this addendum is really only appropriate in relationships where you know that it's safe and appropriate to maintain this relationship in your life. If you're not sure that you want to remain connected to the person, then you don't really need to add anything else after you state, again, I have too much respect for myself to continue this interaction. Which brings us to the next point. Know when to cut off ties in a relationship for good. If someone disrespects or abuses you intentionally, if they've crossed a line, it is very healthy and appropriate to walk away for good and remove that person from your life. What about forgiveness, you might be wondering? Well, first of all, you can and should forgive everyone in order for you to be in your highest possible state of peace. That's good for you. Forgive always. But forgiveness doesn't mean that you need to or should interact with that person. In fact, according to the angels, sometimes we're the most empowered to truly and deeply forgive another person and to make peace in that situation when the other person is out of our lives. Clearing yourself of toxic energy or abuse gives you the space, perspective, and calm that you need in order to forgive fully, to be at peace, and then be able to send love back to that person and thereby into the universe, into the collective. Furthermore, if walking away is what is healthiest for you, then remember that is what is also healthiest for everyone else involved. Your walking away might just be the catalyst that finally opens the other person's perspective up to change. Of course, they have free will over whether they'll capitalize upon that opportunity and make a positive change, and you are in no way responsible for what they choose, nor should you be. But often, no other course of action will give them such an opportunity to wake up and see things in a more loving light, like you walking away. It's a wake-up call. So it's important to assess the way the person has crossed a line. Has this person simply made a mistake and then apologized? If so, and if your heart and your angels seem to guide you most towards giving that person a second chance, then great, you can explore that route and see if that person will, rise to your standard. However, if that person has maybe made that mistake repeatedly, perhaps they've even apologized repeatedly too, but then they aren't following that up with real healthy changes and atonement, or in other words, acts of repair to help repair your trust in them and to actively upgrade the situation towards balance and respect, doing their fair share, then ask your heart and call upon your angels and assess how to proceed in exiting that person's life. And according to the angels, when it is time to leave someone's life, in most cases, you don't owe the other person a long explanation. Refraining from oversharing or taking over responsibility for whether or not that person understands you is to uphold a healthy, strong boundary. You simply need to show or tell the other person where the boundary is to ensure that they understand that there's to be no further contact, and then walk away. Engaging in long explanations or conversations once you've already decided and seen that it is time to leave will only drag you through further unnecessary entanglement. And in extreme cases, if you need legal support to ensure that your boundary is respected, such as in the form of a personal protection order or a police report on abuse situations, or if you notice stalking or other threatening behaviors, then of course, by all means, don't hesitate to pursue that. Call upon Archangel Michael for sure right away, the protecting angel, to help guide you through these action steps. And remember that it's worth it in the long run to do this where appropriate, because taking strong actions like this will raise the bar in terms of law of attraction in your life. It places powerful energy structures around you that will make it easier to live fearlessly and avoid attracting boundary-crossing situations in the future. Raise the bar in your relationships. Do this across the board by practicing this compassionate assertiveness over both big and seemingly small issues in this way, and you will make it easier and easier to maintain a standard of healthy love and respect in all interactions in your life. The more you practice speaking and acting assertively in all of your interactions, the better that you'll get at doing this, because you'll have practice. And you'll have a standard of energy and behavior that is now almost upholding itself out of habit and energetically attracting positive, like-minded energies in others. You are truly worthy of being treated with love. All beings are. And as an empath, you are worthy of being treated with the same empathy as you treat others. You are worthy of having the opportunity to speak your truth, to make your perspective known, and to create a positive world around you based on that perspective through your assertiveness. Assertiveness is a tool of self-love, in truth. It is a powerful tool that enables you to be the most effective, healing light worker that you can be. You'll shine much brighter when you love yourself. Hold self-compassion as your first priority. And thus, lead the world around you by the standard of this powerful energy and example. So let's go ahead and gather together for a little guided meditation so that we can practice some self-empowerment together. And as we're getting relaxed and prepared to do so, you can listen to these messages and we'll be right back.
Hi, Sarah Hall here. I'm offering you a wonderful new opportunity to expose your business to my audience. Email the Bring Me to Life team at ads@sarahhall.com and let us know if you'd be interested in this special offer. You can feel great about supporting a message you believe in while bringing your own services to light. Again, email us at ads@sarahhall.com for more details.
Breathe deeply and relax. As you breathe deeply, notice a direct line of energy connecting your heartbeat and your breath. Every deep breath calming your heartbeat to a relaxed, receptive, healing pace, as sensations of calm, stillness, and presence spread throughout your body and mind. Archangel Michael is with you. See and feel as the angel of protection stands above you, channeling in beautiful blue and yellow gold light into your energy field. Michael is your channel to source energy in this moment, joining with the presence of the highest divine mind and with all of the angels and loving beings in heaven to fill you with empowerment. Breathe blue and yellow gold light in, feeling as this energy enters into every cell of your body and every particle of your consciousness. This light permeates your being, helping you to feel complete and very strong. This light grows so bright and uplifting that it seems to swirl around you in a healing bubble of blue and yellow gold light. With your next deep breath, bring your awareness down to your solar plexus chakra, the energy center in your belly. Feel the light from Archangel Michael flowing into your solar plexus, filling your power center with heaven's highest energy of assertiveness and strength. With every breath you take, this energy increases, expanding into your thought system, deep beliefs, and relationship with the world around you. As you breathe into your solar plexus chakra, think the following affirmation with your inner spiritual voice. I am powerful. It is safe for me to be powerful. I am strong and compassionately assertive. My compassionate assertiveness uplifts all areas of my life to the standard of love. And so it is. With your next deep breath, gather that blue and gold energy in your belly at your solar plexus, inhaling deeply. And with your next exhale, feel that light rising up from the belly, feeling that light pooling into your throat chakra. Watching as the angels channel a bridge of light between your solar plexus and throat. Feeling as your power flows through your self-expression. The throat chakra fills with this healing, beautiful yellow and blue energy. This empowering energy flows into all aspects of self-expression, your body language, the words you choose, the sound of your voice, all of your behavioral patterns and interactions with others. Your throat chakra is glistening with beautiful love and healing light. As you breathe into your throat chakra, repeat the following affirmation with your inner spiritual voice. My voice is a powerful channel of loving assertiveness. I speak my truth and thereby bring love and harmony into all areas of my life. And so it is. With that, Archangel Michael and your circle of angels and guides are channeling a beautiful shield of spiritual armor all around you. Feel as beautiful layers of bright, purifying purple and blue light form a shield of protection around you. As you breathe, allow this healing shield to be bright and strong, feeling as it protects you from any lower energy in the world, and noticing as it sends the energy of peace back out into the world. With that, we're going to take in just a few more deep breaths, breathing that healing light into the belly, and exhaling, noticing it radiating out through the legs, the feet, the arms, the fingertips, helping you to feel beautifully grounded in this heavenly gift of strength. With our next deep inhale, we'll gather that light in once more. And on your next exhale, gently open your eyes and shift right back into the room, back into this waking moment together here. Thank you. Thank you. It's always so wonderful to connect with all of you in these healing practices. So now is our time where we're going to hear from you. We're going to take some readings and calls. So I see that several of you are already lined up for readings, but if you would like to call or text in, you can do so at 1-240-979-6366. Again, that's 240-979-6366. Today, I'm going to be working with the Sacred Traveler Oracle cards by Denise Lynn. All right, so let's see whose reading will come in first for today. Okay, so the angels are guiding me to go to Sonia Rose. Sonia says, first, I want to thank you for being such a beautiful light and sharing yourself with all of us. Oh, thank you. That's so kind of you. She says, I wish I was more assertive in my job and expressing that I'm more knowledgeable than people assume, as well as in relationships. Can the angels give me advice for not shrinking when I should be standing? Absolutely, yes, my dear. I'm actually hearing the angels give a really, really good piece of advice on this. And thank you for asking this question, because I think a lot of people listening have this same question on their minds. I'm kind of feeling the angels show how this will apply to so many of us. They're telling you that something that you can do to really hone your assertiveness is to practice doing it. Sometimes we need to sort of rip the Band-Aid off of that initial feeling of hesitancy in speaking up and expressing our knowledge and our strength and our capabilities by just getting over that first hump, or practicing doing it so that we feel a little bit stronger in being able to do this. And the angels are actually giving us a little pointer on where do we begin with practicing this. They're saying start with one step at a time. So that means take a baby step. You don't necessarily have to practice being assertive all at once in every single interaction, in ways that might start to feel a little too overwhelming for you. Start first with a baby step, and then you can grow out from there and apply that assertiveness everywhere else. So choose, for example, a relationship where it feels, maybe a little bit more comfortable or safe to be yourself and to really speak up. And choose perhaps a matter that is maybe easy to speak up about, something that feels, small. Sometimes small things are really important. It can be a little issue in a conversation where it's like, oh, I felt really misunderstood with that. Instead of correcting the other person, we just let the conversation keep going in a way. Taking a moment to backtrack and say, hey, actually, I think there was a misunderstanding. What I meant was this, and then assuring that they understand you. Just doing this in little ways to begin with will start to set a standard and get you more and more comfortable with developing a momentum around using your voice and getting strong. Also for you, my dear, I see Archangel Michael coming forward saying that he would like to help you in strengthening your voice as well. He's showing us that he's going to give you some of those little tips and pointers. He'll help to nudge you intuitively when there is an opening, an opportunity to practice doing this in an easy kind of way. Furthermore, lovely, he's showing us that there's a really special energy coming in. I just turned over one card for you for this situation, and it's the Miracles card. And this card essentially says that as you start to practice doing this in little ways, you're going to notice little miracles coming through. Changes that start to come forward that actually feed your confidence. Sometimes just getting a little bit of validation or a little respect or better understanding back from someone in a situation where we do decide to speak up is enough to really help us to feed our sense of empowerment and confidence. And then we feel, a little bit better about boosting, our voice and our energy in applying that to the bigger situations in life. So start small. And hey, if it's easiest, you can even start small by practicing doing it in the mirror. If you think back on a conversation or an opportunity where you really wanted to speak up and be assertive, but maybe you didn't, use that as an example. Imagine that you're right back in that situation and just go into your own privacy of your own room or a bathroom or something like that, look into the mirror and practice speaking it into the mirror, locking your own gaze in your own eyes. Even a baby step like that can make worlds of difference. And again, with practice, you'll get really good at this. You'll start to feel wonderful. And the world, remember, my dear, deserves to see you at your strongest and your best. That's going to be a really empowering thing. So thank you so much for your question. That's an important one. Okay, it looks like we have a caller on. Hi, caller. You are on the air now. If you could just introduce us with your name and let us know what your question is for the angels.
Is this me?
Yes, this is you.
Oh, my goodness. Sarah, thank you so much for your generosity and wisdom and insight. My question for the angels is, since 2014, when I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis while in grad school, I felt really limited physically as I'm intolerant to drug therapy. Along with this, my anxiety is amped up, and the two kind of ping off each other in ways that make it difficult for me to know what I am capable of as I search for a new job. And I just wanted a little advice on that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. There is a really powerful spiritual theme moving through your life. I am actually going to focus on the kind of spiritual roots of your situation because I'm feeling the angels guiding us in that direction. But before we do, I'm going to set the tone with a little message coming forward from Archangel Raphael. He actually wants you to know that there are going to be some really wonderful recourses that he'll give you with regard to uplifting your health with a diagnosis like rheumatoid arthritis. He wants you to know that there are some natural healing things that you can do that might come from maybe sometimes some unconventional sources, maybe a holistic, naturopathic, or even you could check into the medical mediums approach for these kinds of things. But Raphael wants you to know right away that he's going to guide you to help you on the physical front. Now the angels want to tell us a little bit more about that spiritual and mental aspect of the situation, because profoundly this is, connected to your empowerment, to what will be happening with regard to your job search, your career life, as you mentioned, and is rooted in an overall life lesson where you're being given a big opportunity around boundaries. So the angels are showing us that at the root of rheumatoid arthritis, there is an energetic or emotional situation wherein we will oftentimes have a long-standing vibration where our boundaries are being crossed, where maybe they're not quite high enough, or maybe we're having trouble with confidence, with assertiveness, with putting ourselves out there, with holding on to our empowerment. Because what happens before the physical condition occurs that might result in, rheumatoid arthritis, there is a physical root to it where we've got what feels actually like pathogens overwhelming the body, and those pathogens crossing boundaries within the body at a physical level. And what we know is that what happens, physically is also happening within us spiritually and, mentally at the same time. So as above, so below. What we do to one part of our being, we're doing to all parts of our being. Now, don't worry in any way. The angels are saying that this means that, having an illness like this is, your fault. Absolutely not, my dear. That it's the result of not being, quote unquote, spiritually perfect or something like that. No, absolutely not. That's not how these things work. Sometimes these things just sort of come into our lives, and it's, just a neutral response to the conditions that are around us and to the, path that our soul has signed up to, as far as what it can do to expand in its strength, to empower and bolster you on your path of enlightenment, of creating more power and love in your life. So these things are here, and we can almost, kind of without judging an illness or a difficult situation, see it as an opportunity to become very, very powerful, to heal, to expand the presence of love. Literally everything we attract in our life is an opportunity to expand the presence of love. And the more powerful a situation is, and certainly a challenge can be something that packs a powerful punch. So an illness is a challenge, and it kind of has a powerful focus that might enter into our lives. It has just as much power to catalyze or to open the gates to heaven's energy, to empowerment. So we're going to think of this as just a beautiful thing that we accept, that we love, without a single shred or hint of worry or guilt or judgment on, oh, did I cause this or anything else? No. But we are at the same time looking at this, kind of spiritual root of the situation, where the angels show us that if you correct, shift, and uplift the consciousness part of this, raise your boundaries with others, raise your confidence in your self-love, and begin practicing assertiveness, then you'll start to see that your physical body has no choice but to shift and change to match that vibration, where there is a general protectedness for every area of your life. And we're seeing that there will be less inflammation in your joints as a result. It's so interesting that they're showing us this, because, our joints are a part of our physical body that really kind of represent, again, our supportedness. And a lot of times we ourselves have to be the ones, from a human standpoint, that protect and uplift and set the standard for our supportedness in life. We have to play a role in our supportedness and in supporting ourselves. So when we hold really high boundaries, if we go all the way down to the level of the physical body and then look at the joints, we actually see oftentimes the issues around the joints, inflammation, what we'd see as what people call like an immune response that's challenging in this area. These start to go away when we have these higher boundaries. So I've pulled a couple of cards for you, my dear. I'm just going to turn them over right now to see what else the angels would like to say about the path ahead. Okay, this is beautiful. Your first card is so empowering. It is a card called Answering the Call. And as soon as I turned this card over, right away, I got your angels coming forward saying that the time is now. You have actually a very beautiful life purpose in this world. You've got lots of talents, lots of intelligence, lots of gifts, lots of vision, and you deserve the joy of being able to fulfill your purpose. So as you feed yourself with affirmations and a deep core belief system that you can work on, again, by affirming it daily or even writing it down in a journal daily, I am powerful, I am gifted, I am strong, and I am putting myself out there, that kind of thing, then this will help you to, again, set an energetic presence, a precedent that you can follow and, easily see move into different areas in your life. You'll start to see that actually this, in baby steps of growth, gives you a little bit more energy throughout your day, because we know that, with an autoimmune situation like, rheumatoid arthritis, it can zap our energy a little bit for sure, which is why actually Archangel Raphael's piping in, and he's saying, prioritize your health and your well-being. Just as the angels said earlier in our show, they gave us that message that says we must take care of ourselves first, self-compassion first. Let self-compassion be your biggest goal. Self-care and self-love for your health be your biggest and strongest goal. And as you let that reign as the top priority of, where you're arranging, your schedule and what you're doing and how you're interacting in the world, this is gradually going to help you climb the mountain and just have more energy in life. And the angels are going to guide you step by step through your life with the specifics of this. So call on them every day. Your next card is the View from Above card, the View from Above. So this is a card that comes in when the angels are saying that they're helping to give you the bigger picture in this situation. They're going to give you a much bigger kind of plan, where they're actually saying, again, for you too, it's one baby step at a time. This is a sort of universal message for everyone else who's listening and who's sent in questions today. Take things one baby step at a time. So work on one health goal at a time, work on one career-based goal at a time, and don't let yourself get too overwhelmed, because that too can be a thing that makes us feel a little bit zapped for energy, and sometimes even zapped for confidence when we feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many things to do. How do I climb this mountain? Instead, don't think about the top of the mountain. Think about putting your left foot in front of your right foot. And the angels will show you a long-term path ahead where it's like, okay, with these little baby steps, it will be easy. Eventually, I've got this path forward, and I'll be very patient with myself as I take these baby steps. By the way, the angels are leading you towards a new job that actually does feel really good, but they're just saying for you right now to be very patient on the path to getting there, because it feels worth it to take your time and to really sift through the opportunities. I see Archangel Uriel really working with you and drawing you towards someone who you'll be working with or for, who has some like-minded values and who is very, very kind, someone you'll vibe with and actually feel as sort of like a friend and mentor that you'll work for. So keep on, putting yourself out there. And yes, you will be aligned with this person. And that actually is an energy where, when we get along with, when we feel good in our job environment generally, we've got more energy there. We don't, it doesn't make us feel so much drained, and we can fit our work life in with our other goals that would include our self-care for our health and any other things going on. Your third and final card is the Great Adventure card. Great adventure. So this is a card telling us a little bit about your long-term future, and the angels are actually giving me this very excited energy, and they're telling us that you've got beautiful things ahead of you with regard to your career path. You'll be reaching for the stars. There's wonderful, unexpected blessings that will be coming in for that. So again, just be patient and take it one baby step at a time. And also to know that there are some really great, wonderful, beautiful personal spiritual lessons that you'll learn as a result of making some amazing improvements around your health. I do see some improvements. You don't have to worry that you're going to be stuck in, the current status quo, or that things will be hard, for life. I actually feel a lot of healing and recovery on the way for you with this. There will be improvements. And that's just going to feel so good. So call on your angels regularly. They just keep saying that for you. And otherwise, I'll be sending you my prayers and my love too, my dear.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You're the best.
Thank you. You're the best. Thank you for calling in. All right, guys. So we're going to just squeeze in one final email or question that we had that came in from the chat. It looks like, okay, we have a question that came in from Fantasia. Fantasia says, my question is about guarding my energy from a toxic family member who I live with. I'm not sure if I'm an empath, but their negative energy feels contagious. Praying to move soon. Any help or suggestions from my guides is appreciated. I feel like I'm always trying to reach out and look for signs from them, but I never feel their presence. Oh, my dear. Okay. First thing the angels are showing us is that you actually are an empath. You're an empath that has learned to put up pretty strong shields around your heart. And shields are good. Don't get me wrong. They're definitely good. But sometimes we can shield our heart from a place of, fear in a way that kind of shuts down the heart a little bit, to where it's like, oh, I just don't want to deal with these people. So I'm, cutting off this part of me that is trying to sense them, and it can make us feel a little bit bogged down. So what you can do is you can ask your angels, hey, angels, if I've got any shields around my heart or my energy body that are coming from fear, please help me remove them. I'd like to remove all negative or fear-based shields around myself and replace them with love-based, hope-based shields of energy that will keep my energy uplifted. The angels are also showing that as an empath and as a sensitive person, as one who's on a spiritual path, you do have intuition as well. The angels hear every single prayer, every single intention that you send them. They never miss a single beat, and they actually look to answer every single prayer too. Something that we can do when we're looking to maybe receive the gifts of the answers to our prayers is just to relax and get really open-minded and hold this intention that says, I surrender. I surrender. Or maybe in other words, God's will be done. God's will be done, which says, not as the will of my ego would have it, not as the will of the mind of, fear within me would have it. But I trust that the outcome of this situation is going to come out the best that I can envision it, or maybe even better. Maybe God's will, or there's a higher divine consciousness that has an even better solution for this. So I surrender to that. I surrender, in other words, to the highest power, and let myself align with that highest power and let it move through me. That surrendering energy, that letting down of fear-based defenses will help you to really feel your angels' presence and have, again, their interventions come through. And you can definitely apply that to working with a toxic family member. Next thing that your angels are actually saying is that first want to validate you that, yes, you're right. This situation is one where you've quite appropriately assessed the situation. And it does look like it is time for some space from this toxic family member. Sometimes when someone really proves that they just aren't willing to make a change, or even that they've got imbalances that to an extent seem almost like a pattern, or maybe like an emotional imbalance, an illness, or something like that. If it starts to go down in that direction where someone's really, really just chronically toxic, like that, we could say, then your best chance, is you've got to walk away. You've got to create some space. That's going to be really, really, really important. With this particular family member, this is interesting because the angels are showing us almost that there's like an addictive energy that moves through their lives. Addictive energy can sometimes even affect us just at the level of emotions. So we're addicted to a thought pattern. We're addicted to a behavior pattern with other people, or we're addicted to getting attention from other people by behaving negatively sometimes. This person actually seems like they're kind of locked in a cycle, whereas there's this repeated kind of behavior. And it's definitely, coming from their own suffering. It's coming from their own fears and issues and that kind of thing. But you, my dear, are not responsible for figuring those things out, for saving that person or anything like that. And yes, for you, having space from this person and from the situation is going to enable you to see it from the highest, most loving light, forgive them. And gosh, you holding space for forgiveness for your family member is only going to uplift the situation in a beautiful way, because it's going to make sure that you're sending positive energy out into the shared energy stream that you carry. So first card that I pulled for you is the Cleansing Waters card. Cleansing Waters. So purification is important in this, and the angels are saying it's time to purify your energy body with regard to this situation. Do regular cord clearing with Archangel Michael. If you need help with this, go on YouTube and go to my cord clearing meditation, guided meditation with Archangel Michael. And with all of my guided meditations, I've prayed and held the intention and asked for the angels to just be with every single person that practices them, and they do. The angels work directly with you, so you're getting divine help in a download when you connect with these meditations, and Michael will help to make sure that your energy body is cleared. Something you can also do is to make sure that you have some retreat time from your home environment. So if you need to, go find a different space to be in for a time, go out in nature and go for a walk, or even go, just leave the room and get into a quiet sea salt bath or something like that, that's going to help to clear your energy so that you don't feel drained. You need to replenish. That's going to be really important in the short term while you're waiting for an opportunity to find a new living situation. Second card is Fogged In. The Fogged In card represents that there's a confusing kind of foggy energy with this person. So right now that shows that this person does not have a whole lot of openness with regard to being reasonable and seeing reason. So it's not going to be the greatest use of your time and energy to try to argue with them, to get them to see the truth or to see your side of things. It's better to kind of have a little bit more of a boundary and stepping back and just sort of, saying to yourself, okay, I'm just going to tell them what my boundary is and, step back, step away kind of thing. The third card is the impasse card, being at an impasse in a situation. So that's, the card that we get when, okay, there's a wall up, so there's only so far I'll be able to go with negotiating with that person. Again, that's just further illustrating that, negotiating and cooperating, you may have already tried with that, and that might not be working the best way. So this is, again, we're validating a situation where stepping away and redirecting your energy is going to be the best thing that you can do. So just try your best to create as much space as you possibly can. You can always send prayers and love back to your family member and ask the angels that, hopefully they'll guide your family member on the path of healing for themselves. But even if you love someone, they are not, your responsibility to fix, to heal, to clear. So thank you so much, my dear. And wonderful. I see that Fantasia was able to send us a message back, and she says she does listen to the cord cutting meditation regularly. Wonderful. I'm so glad that you do that. Yes, yes, yes. Keep doing that. And you can call on Michael actually every single day. You can ask Michael to watch over the relationship with your family member and just to stand over your energy body every single day in all of your interactions, because he'll start to intuitively nudge you and guide you with all of the different things that you can choose to ensure that your energy is uplifted. Oh, by the way, he's adding in the message. He says, I'm helping you with finding a new living situation too. So call on him, call on Archangel Chamuel, who is the finding angel as well, to help find that new ideal home life. And that will help you so much with your family relationships overall in general. They all feel to kind of move into an evolved place, a little bit more acceptance and peace is there once you're able to have that space. So thank you everyone who called and texted and joined our chat today. I definitely am going to be sending love and prayers to all of you that we weren't able to get to with regard to our angel readings. But since we're now coming to the end of our time together, I just wanted to thank you so much for tuning in. It's always such a joy and honor to connect with you. I will be back on Bring Me to Life Radio again on Wednesday, December 18th for Angel Hour, the show where we devote the whole hour to angel readings. So come on back for that show. And on Thursday, December 19th for Through the Eyes of the Angels again. And I'm super excited for next month's episode of Through the Eyes of the Angels because we will be doing our annual solstice stories episode where we celebrate the light. So definitely join us for that. If you'd like to listen to today's podcast again or share with a friend, you will find it anywhere that you like to listen to podcasts, including Spotify and that kind of thing. And I'll also share the links on my social media pages just so that you'll be able to find it for sure. So do keep in touch with me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And you can visit my website, sarahhall.com, if you'd like to contact me for a personal private reading, a healing session, or to join one of my online courses. And by the way, if you've been wanting to take one of my online courses, keep your eyes out over the next week on sarahhall.com for my Black Friday discounts off of course enrollment. If you're on my email list, I'll also be sending you a little email reminder on that too. So keep your eyes out for that. It will be a great opportunity to sign up and fill your holiday season with some spiritual healing and growth. I love you all so much and hope you all have a beautiful, fantastic rest of your day.